that he was my campaign manager 2000, the campaign that got me into the presidency of Ghana. And he was a devout Dankwabuzia man, committed to the tenets of the tradition: rule of law, respect for human rights, respect for freedom of thought, speech and association. I was also a respecter of individual initiative, private sector. These things constitute the core of the Dankwa tradition, Dankwabuzia tradition, and Jake was committed. It wasn't too surprising because he was born into the tradition. His father was one of the big six.
Obetsebi Lamptey. We all know the role he played in our democratic process from 1992 to date. He served as chairman of the NPP, and even in the most turbulent times, when adversarial competitiveness was at its height, people like Jake, maintained a calm head, and working together, we've always been able to calm the waters, and that is part of what has created Ghana as a model for democracy in Africa. And so on his passing, is only fitting that as President of the Republic of Ghana, I come to mourn with the family.
We need your strength. We need your faith to be able to lead the struggle that involves all of us.
And that's our special tribute to the man Jake Lamptey Otanka Obetsebi Lamptey. Now, joining me in the studio is Derek Ekosam. He covered the state funeral today, just at the forecourt of State House. And he joins me now with details of what happened there at the final funeral rites, state burial of the late former NPP chairman. Derek, I can imagine that this was a very solemn event. Tell us what happened at the event today.
Great. So it started from the NPP headquarters. That's around 8 o'clock in the morning. The mortal remains of the late party chair were brought to the NPP headquarters, and then the party faithfuls sang an anthem. They went round it, and then it was let's go. Then you had to go to the forecourt of the State House for the rest of the festivities. The family calls it a celebration, and so to them it was not a funeral. And the dress code was white. So apparently when I got there, I was actually not in the right attire.
Out of sync. Maybe you had a touch of white, so that should work.
Well, they tell me I had a lot more black than white.
Than white.
Yes. So,
okay.
And it was more of a happy moment for most of them, because according to them, before Jake gave up the ghost, he asked that he should be celebrated. Nobody should mourn for him. But there was one person who could actually not celebrate him, his wife, Madam Esther. She was actually in tears, and I had goosebumps all over my body when I saw her file past the body. At every point in time, she would pause and then touch Jake's fabric. He was clad in white, his usual agbada, with the NPP flag around his neck. And from afar, you would think that there's a man who is not dead but sleeping. He looked more like he was actually at rest. And then his daughters and then some other family members also came in. The president couldn't speak. He asked the Minister of Tourism, Elizabeth Ofuswe-Jare, to speak on his behalf. You know, Jake was also a former Minister of Tourism. He described Jake as a man who had loved for tourism and then the arts. And then he also asked that disputes should be the only way, as in
dialogue should be the only way.
Dialogue should be the only way to solve disputes. We can't watch that particular clip.
It draws us from the tendency to see life as an end in itself rather than a mere phase which is destined to end at some point. Jake was successful in many ways. He was a family man, an entrepreneur who loved the art with passion. Hence his success at Lintas served as managing director. He was a politician. In the administration of President John Edekun, he served as chief of staff and later held ministerial portfolios at different times, Minister for Information and Minister for Tourism and Modernization of the capital city. At the party level, among others, he was a founding member and the manager for candidate Kufuor's campaign, which led to the historic victory in the watershed presidential election of the year 2000. He retained his position in 2004 election and retained power for President Kufuor's second term. He also served as the national chairman of his party. In the year 2007, he was one of the many presidential aspirants in his party. He had his very high and low moments and disappointments as a human being. Today, as we remember our brother and friend, to get all to receive him in paradise, the greatest remembrance gift we can offer our nation, which we serve, is peace, unity, and stability. For these are critical ingredients for development.
Right, so that's the Tourism Minister, Elizabeth Ofuswe-Jare, speaking on behalf of the President and his tribute to the former NPP chairman who was passed, Obetsebi Lamptey. Derek is still with me in the studio. Derek, much as you were improperly dressed for the event, for the NPP, what were some of the things they said in eulogizing the man?
Well, they called him a strategic man. You know, he helped President Kufuor win the two elections, 2000 and 2004. And so for them, his demise is more of a rejuvenation for the party. You know, last week they had to lay to rest the late
JB Dankwa.
Yes. They said he was a unifier, and so that his death would actually bring unity, and then Jake's death as well. So to the members of the party, this is more like, let's come together, let's strategize, and let's win elections 2016. I spoke to Honorable Chairman Jako, current NP for Ayawaso West, Wagon, and then Apia Kubi, who's also contesting on the ticket of the NPP for Asante Achim North. You can also watch that clip as well.
I think he belongs to the class of politicians of our ilk who picked up from their father. All of us know that his father was Obetsebi Lamptey. I am happy that some of the things his father was not able to accomplish, his father and those around him. As campaign manager on 2 occasions, he worked very hard and brought power to this political tradition. For me, that was the peak of his achievements.
Many people call him a strategist in that he was able to help the party win power on 2 occasions. How will the party learn from his demise and strategize towards winning elections, the elections come November?
I think everybody who speaks about him talks of his open nature. I think that his strength was lay in the fact that he was able to take on people, direct people, and trust in people. I believe that these are essential characteristics for a political party. This we should learn from him.
And it looks like trust is somewhat lost in the party now.
I don't believe that there is trust lost. You can only add on. The people that manage the party now have their strengths, but nothing stops them from adding on.
Well, it's unfortunate we are losing our great man at this point in our life as a party. But I have personally worked under Jake as a national youth organizer in the run-up to the 2000 elections. I was very much part of the campaign, so I know the worth of Jake to the party. It's unfortunate that we're losing him at this time. He was a great pillar and he was our motivator. So we have lost a great man to the party. The lessons that we learned from him is that we must come together as one family and fight the cause together, and I'm sure that Jake, the spirit of Jake, will be behind us and we will succeed in these upcoming elections.
Right, so those are some of members of the MPP in paying their own tribute to the man, Obetsebi Lamptey. Derek, for the former presidents who came for the event today, did they say anything?
Well, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings didn't speak to the media, but he was solemn. One person who surprisingly wasn't around was ex-President Kufuor. You know, he worked closely with the late Obetsebi Lamptey. I'm wondering if that gives credence to the Akan proverb that like when a good friend dies, the other good friend may be missing from the funeral, but in all, it was a solemn event. We had people from all walks of life, from all divides. The NDC was also well represented there. They had the General Secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, over there. They had some other ministers of state. We have Dr. Papakwe seeing him come in there, the flag bearer of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo and his running mates, were all there. You had party stalwarts.
They all did not speak?
Surprisingly, they did not speak.
Okay, all right. So the family calls it the celebration of life, and so maybe we should not be mourning, but be happy for the life of Obetsebi Lamptey at a time like this. And so the state has now paid its respects to the former national chairman of the MPP, and also a man who was seen as an advertising icon and mogul in this country, paid his dues in the growth of that industry in Ghana today. So that's a wrap of what happened today at the state funeral. Thank you, Derek Ekosam. So after the state funeral, what happens? Do we know if there's another ceremony happening for the family?
I think the Thanksgiving service is on Sunday, but as of now, he's been laid to rest.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Derek. Some say you are called the chief mourner, covering 2 funerals back-to-back, last Friday and then today. But thank you.
It just came in line with the job.
All right, okay. Good job then. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Derek Ekosam. Let me read some of your comments now. You've sent us on our Facebook page on the number of stories we brought to you here on the Pulse. I'll start with this one on the Electoral Commission presenting its final certificate to the All People's Party to become the 26th registered political party in the country. And as you can imagine, some people just could not hold back, calling Hassan Ayariga all manner of names. Abubakar Ibrahim says, Ghana is a serious country and jokers like Ayariga should never be given the opportunity. We can't forget what happened during 2012, the presidential debate. That's from Ibrahim, a.k.a. Liquidator in Kumbungo. Above all, Anthony says, this Ayariga is a big joke of the moment in politics. I'm sure he doesn't know how to spend his money. It's interesting, Anthony, because the man is actually contesting and his party has now got a certificate. So much as you say he's a joker, he is in this race. Abeku wants to change the name of the party, APC. You rather want to change it to Aponchi People's Party. No, that's not the name. The name is All People's Congress, APC. Bear that name in mind. Now to the story that's got a lot of people cringing in sadness about Christopher suffering at the hands of some soldiers brutalized in Tamale. Some of you have been sharing your comments with us on our social media page. Yaya Imori says, oh my God, not until we do thorough background checks on applicants before enlisting them into the Ghana Army. Brutalities by some soldiers and civilians will linger on for a very, 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 very long time. Counting M.A. Blessing says, where is the loss? Why is it that in Ghana, the law net can catch the small ones, but not the big ones? Jonathan Ali Adam says, these soldiers should not go scot-free. They do this day in, day out, insulting civilians. They beat people like animals. It's time they know they are soldiers because there are people called civilians. Douglas Amwa says, these soldiers are very, okay, you are insulting them. How much does a phone cost? This is sad on their part. The punishment is ahead of them. very, very soon. I had to edit your comment there, Douglas. Please keep it decent so I can share it with the rest of the world. Portia Obapa says, may God punish these soldier guys. Isn't our hard-earned tax that which is used to pay them at the end of every month? Portia, again, I need to mention, keep your comments decent. I know you can't be emotional about these things, but keep them decent. You're sharing it with the rest of the world. The whole world is reading your comments here on our page. Bugri Baumia says, in fact, the news following the brutalization of the 16-year-old boy is very pathetic and inhumane. God will punish them for this barbaric and heartless act. What you wish not to do for your children, don't do it to other children. Angel Nananketia says, oh my God, how on earth? Thank you so much for your comments on the stories we've brought to you, that you've been sharing your views on. We will try, keep them coming. In fact, on Twitter, I'm yet to see any notifications in that respect. Okay, I think I've got some right now. Let me refresh the page and see if I can read your comments now. Okay, Safi Prime says, congrats to the APC. Just hope these upcoming parties will make an impact, because from what I see, we have only 2 parties in Ghana. And I'm sure you're referring to the NPP and the NDC. Yahweh J. Williams says, another joker has been given the green light. Bring us jokes while we are going for this year's election. Ayarigate for Wukrom. That is your personal hashtag for this story. Thank you for sharing your comments with us. Keep them coming. We'll read your comments here on the show. Your views are very important for us, so keep them coming. We'll share them with the rest of the world today. Now, we'll go for a break at this point. When we come back, there's some sad news coming from the Bunafu region. An accident has seen some people injured and 1 person has died. We'll bring you an update on that story right after the break. Stay with us here on The Pulse.